Let's continue our conversation about the most important questions for agile managers. Today, we're going to talk about questions number 2 and 3. So in our last video, we spoke about the first question for agile management, which is, what the heck is this agile you speak of? And what's going to happen is we discuss the different personas of the C-suite. Every person on the C-suite may overload or interpret this word agile to mean radically different things, sometimes diametrically opposite things. And if you don't address that conflict, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because all the powerful people in the company are pulling their teams in different directions. And it's a recipe for disaster. So you got to figure out, what does agile mean in your context? If there's a conflict, who gets to decide what it means? And then once that decision is made, you have a choice. Either you play under protest, you support it, or you just move on if you cannot find it in your heart to support it. But what you cannot do is, you cannot in good conscience stay on and then undermine the effort or passively or actively subvert the effort. All right. So let's imagine that that question has been taken care of. The whole company has got one interpretation of what agility means. Now let's move on to the next questions for agile management. Question number 2 is, how will you measure it? The foundation of agility is empiricism. Empiricism requires transparency. Where are we right now? Inspection. How does it compare to where we wanted to be? If you don't define where you want it to be, it's very challenging to do inspection, right? And the third and the most important pillar of empiricism is adaptation. Once you see the gap between target reality and current reality, where we want it to be and where we are, now that sets the stage for unpacking learning and wisdom, which in turn sets the stage for course correction. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about this, right? So that's question number 2. How will we measure it? Whatever we perceive or interpret agility to mean. What's question number 3? When do we want it? So by when do we want to get there, right? So this is based on the Franklin Covey 4 disciplines of execution. And if you haven't seen the summary video by Chris Chesney, I think you should. So Chris Chesney says you need to have a starting line, an end line, and or a finish line and a deadline, all right? So the third question is the deadline component of the Franklin Covey 4 disciplines of execution, wildly important goal construct, right? Let's take it for a test ride. Let's imagine that in our context, agility means improving the flow of value to our customers, right? So one possible metric or indicator you might use is cycle time. So right now, maybe it takes 6 months for us to go from concept to cash, to get an idea, an unmet need that a customer has, to the point where we can get something in the hands of the customer to actually use it. Why is that a problem? The whole world could turn upside down in 6 months, and what may have been valuable 6 months ago might not be valuable when you finally get around to delivering it. This is especially true if you think about COVID. My life has turned upside down in the last 6 months, and what might have been valuable for me 6 months ago is not valuable to me right now, right? So there's business sense and business value in organizations wanting to shorten or tighten the feedback loop so that you get something quickly to the customer, you minimize your risk exposure in terms of dollars of payroll, in terms of risk exposure and loss of reputation. You get something quick out to the customer says yay or nay, you learn, either way you course correct, right? So that's cycle time. So if you express that in a format similar to the Franklin Covey 4 disciplines of execution, wildly important goal, an organization may choose to define the target of their agile enablement in this way. So let's decrease cycle time, concept to cash or concept to customer, from 6 months to 1 month, and you got to put the deadline within 90 days, right? What if the problem is quality? Customers are frustrated, we are embarrassed at the quality or lack thereof in our product, Another possible measure for your agile enablement, or a target for a quantified target for your agile enablement, could be, let's decrease open defects from 100 to 25, again, within 90 days, sometime, all right? What if the problem is our customers are frustrated, they are leaving us in droves, they are filling the internet up with horrible reviews. And in fact, not only are they leaving, but they are preventing us from acquiring new customers. And this is not who we want to be. Well, one possible wildly important goal for agile enablement could be increase happy customers from 45% to 75% within 90 days. The hypothesis here being the cost of retaining a happy customer is less than a cost of acquiring a completely new customer. And what's better is a happy customer, an evangelist might be the best salesperson that you have, because they will bring other people with them, right? So that might be the profit motive. So we want to increase happy customers from 45 to 75 within 90 days. You could use other metrics like net promoter score or other indicators of customer delight and customer retention, right? What if it's all about money? Nothing wrong with that. You're a for-profit organization. Maybe you are privately held. Your investors want to get acquired, and a way that buyers evaluate companies or a company, or price a company for acquisition, is Ebitda. So maybe the buyer will set the buying price at a multiple of Ebitda maybe 5 to 7 times Ebitda. So the organization has decided that agility is a means to boosting Ebitda. So we want to increase Ebitda from $125 million to $135 million over 12 months. And we would break this up into intermediate goals, should this be a goal, because 12 months is a very long cycle, and that would be contradictory to the agile mindset, which is about making short calculated bets, and then short feedback loops and learning, doing small controlled experiments, and then looking at the data, testing your hypothesis, and then course correcting, right? So even if you may choose a wildly important goal which has a 12-month horizon, if you were to apply the agile mindset, you would break it up into shorter checkpoints, all right? So in closing, we started because we wanted to talk about the second and third questions for agile management. So let's recap all the questions we've discussed so far. Question one, what does agility mean to you? Pick one for the whole company, and then pick, stick, deliver. How will you measure it? If you don't set a measurable goal, it's hard to inspect, compare, contrast, target reality with actual reality, unpack the learning, and course correct. And by when do you want it? So that creates a sense of urgency for you to move towards your goal and compare where you are to where you wanted to be by this point in time. If you like this video, look at our website. We've got lots of blogs and content, smoothapps.com. Follow our YouTube channel. Search for SmoothApps on YouTube. We've got plenty of other videos that might be interesting. We've got presentations on SmoothApps that you may find valuable. We've got great webinars. A recent webinar was how to measure and improve the measurable return of investment on agile training, coaching, and consulting. And then follow us on LinkedIn, because as we are rolling out new content, new events, new products, you'll be the first to know. So I hope you found this useful. Until our next video, thank you. Keep calm and scrum on.